It's a platform to use the imagery that is primarily on Street View and annotate it. So when you enhance it, you can add more visual elements that are meaningful to a virtual tour, such as nice navigation structures, hotspots, floor plans. What we call as tour cards is nothing but the information panels, and then we have a bunch of other very interesting visual elements that adds meaning. So I usually use a format to make sure that we are covering all important things in this introductory session. So let me do a screen share, and I have a small presentation put together. I'll be going back and forth between the screen share and the video, so that you'll get an idea about where we are going. So we'll talk briefly about what WalkInto is, and so that's the introduction session. And then we will skip over to talk in detail about navigation, hotspots, or tour cards. Then we'll take a small pause there, and we'll do a Q&A. Then next set of features, floor plans, themes, then what we can do on dashboard. So that is very important because most of your management happens on dashboard. And WalkInto also supports, in addition to everything that is there on Street View, you could also use Panorama not on Street View, so that we call as self-hosted panels. So we will talk briefly about it. It is extremely customizable. Everything on WalkInto is customizable. So there is a very large set of settings that you can use to make a tool exactly how you want. We'll take a pause again, then we'll talk about the products, how to manage the subscriptions, and we'll share a few useful links. Okay. So that is the general idea that I have for this. And at any point in time, if you want to ask a question, what you should use is there's a Q&A panel. So Q&A panel is accessible through the uh, uh, through the grid that you can see on your Hangout window. You could click on it, and you could type a question, and I'll get the question. So when I get the question, I will, when I'm coming to the Q&A section, I'll take that question and I'll answer that. So just type the questions in the Q&A panel. Okay, just explore the Hangout UI a bit to understand where the Q&A panel is, because that's very important for the two-way communication to go on. Okay. So now let's briefly talk about what WalkInto is. It's a complete overlay solution, without any doubt the most advanced overlay system that is in the market today. We have over the last 2.5 years that we have been supporting this product. It has completely evolved through customer feedback. So every feature that we have has come to the product because somebody has a need for that, and when we get a request for features, we usually validate it with the community for the need for it, general need for it, and when there is a consensus is reached, that's when a feature comes into play. So all the features that we have are useful features, and there's no flab in it. Apart from Street View, of course, as I mentioned, you could use self-hosted panels. So for scenarios such as real estate and some restricted businesses, you could host the panels outside Street View and still use it in WalkInto with the extreme fidelity that WalkInto offers for Street View. So every overlay element that is usable on Street View can also be used with the self-hosted panels. This is extremely powerful. And recently we are metamorphosing into the changing needs of the digital marketing scenario, where virtual reality and digital marketing is starting a dance together. And this is a very interesting times, very exciting times. So we are committed to making a WalkInto the Street View VR platform for the future. We have it's a free platform, so anybody can register, login, and create tools. all tools start off in a free mode. So where the cost for running the platform we recover using running ads. But if you are using creating a tool for commercial purposes, you can always apply a paid hosting to the hosting part that WalkInto is providing for the overlay, and that will turn off the ads. Every tool that you create, like naturally, it will either be embedded into a customer's website or your website, or to Facebook pages sometimes, or some other social media. So we have extreme flexibility in providing the right type of embedding options for all these platforms, and these are very easily accessible from within WalkInto. Many a times it will be much required for you to collaborate when you are making a tool, like you might want to collaborate with your customer, with your team members. So WalkInto has built-in tools for allowing sharing of a tool between two people at any point in time, using a notion of editor versus owner. You could manage that. We do have a notion of customer preview links and published versus draft modes. So these all I will talk in detail. These are very useful features that allow you to very safely keep building the tools. Okay. Now, most of the things that we are going to talk about, I will also be demonstrating how things are done. So one of the fundamental things that you would want to do when you want to make an overlay, usually it is for a street view, and the first step in creating an overlay is to get the right panels into an editor. So WalkInto has a notion of a dashboard where you reach when you log in, and from a dashboard you can create a tool. You click on a button and you create a tool, and when you create a tool, you are in an editor environment where you could import in images, the street view images that we want to use. So without much further ado, let's take a look at the WalkInto environment. I'm going to log into my dashboard. Okay. So my dashboard has quite a bit of tools. So if you are new, probably this will be an empty thing. So dashboard, there are extreme set of features that are available for you to manage your profile, and tools available here that we'll come back. We have a slide specifically dedicated for that. Right now, what we are going to do is we are going to create a new tool and then start building it further. Okay. So during the course of this demo, we will be building a real tool and we'll be using it. Now there are many different ways to get a business in here. So one way of doing that is to use the maps Streetview URL itself. So I'm going to go to maps, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to a business, and probably something. So I can take this link right on the top, and this link can be used to import in a panel in WalkInto. So this is a very good feature. So you just copy this link, you come back to your editor, and you paste it here, and you get that street view loaded. Okay. So now once you have loaded this, you have many things you can do. One of it is to shortlist that for later use. When you shortlist it, this is a very useful tool. When you shortlist it, there are from very many different places where you want to quickly jump to a panel. You get a carousel. So that carousel is right here that comes up when there is anything in the shortlist. So this carousel you can use to jump between panels that you have shortlisted. Another thing that you could do is to add it as a menu. So to add it as a menu item, you have this block here. Click on add, and you can add it as a menu. So to do that, I just click on it, click add, and directly I can edit it inline. And the enter key will save it, or I can click on this save button. So in most of the UI features in WalkInto is inline edit. For example, we just saved the menu like this. Just like that, I could click on this pencil here and give it a name. Inline edit and enter again will save it. I could also click uh, save over there. So there is so we imported one business in. Just the same way, I could go to another scene on that same business, or I could in fact even open up another business or another street view rather. It could be a photosphere, it could be um, anything basically. It could be from photosphere or from directly from street view. Again, the importing is here straightforward. It's going to add it as another menu item and save it. So now it is possible to create multiple levels of menu. This is the same way as that we have done. So this is an infinite level of submenu creation is possible. That's very easy to do. Okay, and furthermore, there are a bunch of things that you could do, such as you could adjust more settings over here. So we don't really have uh, much time to go into the full depth of each and every feature, but this I hope will give you an idea about how to get scenes into a tool. So this is a basic thing. So it's a natural starting point for us. And another aspect is when we load a tool, we really care about the first scene. And in walk into the first scene or any scene that you want to load when the tour starts up, you can just adjust the editor mode, the editor to look at that particular item. And click this tick mark that you see here, and that will set this tool's starting mode. Now, so far, what we have done has already created a tool. If you click on this preview here, you'll see the preview version of it, and that will load up to the starting panel that we have set, and with all that menu structure that we have created. Okay, so it's very easy and straightforward to create a navigation structure. There are more navigation structures in WalkInto. We will be talking a little bit detail as we are going ahead. Navigation options, menu navigation is what we just spoke about. There's another mode called thumbnail menu. So how to get there is this. For example, like if you look here, so this mode is called thumbnail menu, and how to adjust that is by using the menu's settings option here. And the settings, when you set it to thumbnail, you get this on your preview. Okay, so that is how you set another thumbnail option. And going back, scene links is a fancy balloon kind of thing that shows a thumbnail of a target scene, and you could click on it and it will jump over there. So that's called scene links. Floor plan is very useful for large properties where you want to attach an image and give radar links that's pointing to different panels in the tour. So that is another navigation option. Pano connector is our custom moderation tool where you could create the Street View links, and using that links you can link over panels. So this is possible. And one of the cool features that is very popular is to give an auto rotation for a tool. And to do that, what you do is on the editor, we are currently in the editor, you have a editor control here. There's a settings control, and here you can specify whether you want the tool to rotate for all panels in the tool or a specific panel, or you could turn off the rotation for a panel. So all those things are possible using this settings. So different types of navigation options: menu, thumbnail, floor plan, scene link, panel connector, that is Google Street View kind of links, and then you could change the rotation option. So all these things are very easily possible in WalkInto. Okay. If you have any questions at this point, like please feel free to ask on the Q&A panel. So I'm watching the Q&A panel. Any questions that you ask there, I will be able to very easily jump in and take. Also, I see that Doug is connected on connected in, so he should be able to talk also.
Yeah, I'm here, but I have my microphone muted.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so tour cards. So tour cards is a name that we have given to the information panels that you can add to WalkInto. And in tour cards, there are a few important concepts. We have a concept of templates. So templates gives a standard defined structure that you can use, and when you can change the templates for a tour card. And when you change the template for a tour card, the data that is there, for example, if you have some title, description, and some images on a tour card, that is retained across templates. Audio tour card gives audio, so you could put in an MP3 or an WAV file or any other web supported audio formats connected in, and that will play accordingly. That will play as per your definition. So the tour cards come in three shapes for us. One is a tour card that comes when you click on an icon. That's called a hotspot tour card, focus tour card rather. A tour card that shows in a scene, and anywhere you look in a scene, that tour card stays. So that's a 360 tour card, and then you could say that a tour card need to come up only when you look in a particular direction. That's called a viewport tour card. There are resizing, positioning, copy pasting. So all these things are possible. There's an advanced HTML editor for every tour card that you could go in and you could directly do the edits. Okay. So far we talked about some important aspects here. Navigation we spoke about. Tour cards we spoke about, and hotspot is the third item. In fact, that should have been here. I think I moved it. Okay, hotspots. I just mentioned that briefly. It's an icon. It's a round icon with an image on it. When you click on it, something happens. So this something could be a video could start playing, and audio could start playing, and information could pop up. You could customize it to pop up galleries. You could make connections between scenes possible. So all these things are useful actions that you could attach as a hotspot. So different types of hotspots are possible. Hotspots, tour cards, navigation options. So these sort of make the core of WalkInto. And for each of these items, you have many customization options. So let's take a quick look at how to add a tour card and how to add a hotspot. Okay. Okay, we are again in the editor. So I'm just going to add a 360 card first. So now to add it, what I did is I clicked on this add tour card icon right top. Here, each of these boxes have two sets of meanings associated with that. There's a YouTube focus. So this row, everything that you see is a hotspot. When I try to add it, it could be for a YouTube video, it could be for a website link that pops up or navigates to when I click on an icon. It could be a focus card on an information box. So that could be coming up here. This is the viewport that I spoke about. When, for example, here I want to focus, I could set it up to come up an information panel to come up only when I'm looking at the desk. So that I can define a viewport and I can attach an information panel for that. One that we are going to create now is a 360 card. This is the simplest of which. It is basically I'm putting a card here and then picking up a template. So this is a template kind of telling me as to how the structure is going to be. These are just for demonstration purposes, we have given some standard thumbnails for how it's going to be. So this is a simple tool card. So I'm just going to give it as a luggage store. You can see that again, I'm doing an inline editing here. I want to increase the size a bit. I might as well resize it a bit, and I could position it wherever I want. So we have done quite a bit of things here. I set up a tool card. I just like changed this background color to something else, probably slightly matching here. And I'm going to change the color of this text to white. I made it semi-transparent, and I'm just going to make this whole text come in the middle. So it's a what you see is what you get editor, and with which we have defined a 360 card and saved it. So now what I'm getting is when I'm looking at this panel, on this panel, wherever I look on this panel, this tool card will stay. Now this is the 360 card, and I could change this 360 card to something else by clicking on the icon on the left and adjusting that. Those are the advanced features. Now this tool card, apart from this, the content that we just added and the styles that we changed and positioning we adjusted, there is something called more settings that when you pull out, there are a bunch of things that you could add. This the specific styling, whether the tool card is draggable, and this tool card show everywhere is a very good feature in the sense you can create a tool card in one scene and tell that I want the tool card to come up on every scene on my tool, so that'll come up. By default, tool card does not have a close button, but you could bring it up by unchecking this. And when you make this settings changes, you will have to click save. So now if I move to the preview and do a refresh, you see that I have this luggage store preview that has come up and it's staying there. Now, just that same way, I could create a viewport card, or rather, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to a viewport card. And now, when I change it to a viewport card, what has just happened is this this card will come up only when I'm looking at this particular direction. For example, in this case, when I'm looking at this front desk position. So now, if I go over to the preview and refresh it, here you will see that card is there, but when I move away, it will hide over. Okay, so that gives the notion that when I'm looking at a particular part of the scene, I can show an information. So this is very useful for a location-specific or an angle-specific information to come up. Okay. Similarly, I could add a hotspot. So to add a hotspot, I'm again going by this information panel thing and select a template, and I will select another template now, and I'm going to place it over here. There's this crosshair you put where you want that hotspot to come up. And now once you have added it, you could customize it further. Here, for example, you could set up a new set up a different icon. You could change the color, background color. You could change the size. A bunch of customization options are there, and hotspots have much more options in the sense like you could even make it here. You could go and you could in fact like change it to a label. I can. So this label is again a focus card, and it's here, as you can see, it's like a text and a line that is pointing at a particular place. So this is another way of adding a hotspot. So the hotspots are extremely powerful entities, and how this hotspot works, the one that we have just created, I'm just going to refresh it back on the preview here. here when I click up, that window that we added is coming up. I didn't do any customization on this window, but I could do it. But that I think we have already shown with the first toolkit. Okay. So moving on, hotspots can be a video, audio, website, link between scenes, information pop-up is what we just focused on. So far, any questions left, please feel free to type in. Okay, you could ask the questions anytime on the Q&A panel. So when I jump back there, I will get access to it. Okay. Thank you. Floor plans are very interesting concept. Floor plans are extremely useful to give meaningful navigation for users in large properties. In WalkInto, floor plans are grouped in two ways. One is this I have to explain with an example. Say you are building a walk-into for a real estate project where there are two buildings are there, and each building has its own type of floor plan. So you and each building, say it has three different floors each. So now when you go and group it, what you really want is you want a section for building A with 3 floors and a section for building B with 3 floors. So if you want to have this flexibility, you want 2 levels of groupings, and that is what uniquely WalkInto is providing. You could create floor areas, and for each floor area you could add floors. So this gives you a two-dimensional division where you could like group your floors together. And once you have floors and the floors layout is fixed, you could add floor points to connect it with different panels. So I will just demo how this is done using our editor. Okay, we are again in the editor, and floor plan is this icon. We call it add area plan because floor area is our unit measurement that comes at a fixed place. It's not, you can't move this floor plan point. It's always on the right bottom. And when you have the floor plan added, you need to add images. So that's what I'm just doing. Probably you can't see I'm picking up the floor plan images, but that's okay. So when you select an image, it gets uploaded and it goes to the server and it comes back. So now what has happened here, I spoke about a floor plan area. So this is my area plan. And that currently has 1 floor. I'm going to add 1 more floor. So currently I have added like 2 floors, floor 1 and floor 2. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this panel into probably this second panel into this floor point. So to do that, all I need to do is click on this floor point here, and I get a crosshair. Click here. So when I do that, I get an option to pick from the shortlist carousel that we spoke about earlier. I could pick a panel from there, or I could directly use the editor scene that we are looking at right now. So that connects this scene with the panel that we have, with the floor plan that we have, and we could give it a name. So this shows up as part of the editor. And sometimes when you are connecting it with the real orientation, you might want to do some adjustments to the way in which radar is looking. So that is possible. For example, here I can say that I want this radar to slightly turn to this side, to this tables, and save. You could just save that. And now let's take a quick look at how it is looking on our preview. So it's our preview, and the editor looks almost identical. It's a deliberate design decision so that you get you don't have to like do a preview which is vastly different than your editor scene. So it's just exactly how you see it. Here you can see that there's a bit of animation that's nice. Since like when I come back onto this floor plan area, it grows and it gives me a full size. When I go out of that floor plan area, it shrinks and it kind of hides away. But still it knows that it's on this panel. When I move away from this panel, that becomes a dot. And when I come back into the panel where it's right there, and it shows me as a radar. And if I'm on a different panel and I move in here and I click on the panel, it shows in a selected state and it adds up. Okay, here there are two floors that we have set up. The second floor doesn't have any floor points, but this is the way in which you add floor points. These floor plans are zoomable and in fact panable also. So this is very useful in mobile screens where it shows pretty nicely. Okay, so back. There are a few minor bugs to watch out for, and the most important one is that because of the way in which dynamically we are sizing the floor plan images, sometimes when you after you upload a floor plan image, the floor point might not come up immediately when you click on that crosshair. So the way around that is you might have noticed me doing that. After you upload, you just close it once and open it back. So then your floor points will just work fine. Okay. Themes. So themes are extremely useful because say you have most of the big brands, they do have their own color themes and fonts and the styling. So and these walk-in tools usually go into a customer website. So it's important that the colors that you are using, the fonts that you are using, are in line with the target website. So to achieve that, how you can achieve that is by using the themes. Uh, so the themes, you pick up the themes editor. You're using this themes icon is the only color, the icon with some a colored icon over there. When you click on it, you will get a theme editor. And WalkInto has a pre-packaged 12, 15 themes are there that you can play around with. You could in fact like pick any of those themes and make a new theme out of that also. For example, by selecting it, it immediately shows you a preview of how it's going to look. So here, when I select a theme, the color and fonts, everything has changed. To create or edit a theme, basically what you do is you have like four options to control. One is the background color, that is the main background color for hotspots, the menu items, etc., etc. What happens to the text when it is moused over? That is the mouse over color. Then text icon colors, text and icon colors. So that's the third color. So you can pick the colors that you want to have. You could give you could fix the font sizing. Fonts are 50, 60 fonts are available on this, or Google fonts. So it's fairly modern fonts, and we keep adding to it many times. You could check out the preview at any time. You change the size, and you could save it. So now I've basically saved a new theme, and now when I click apply, so you can see that the overall styling size of the fonts, everything has changed. So and theme editor like supports directly entering the color codes, so that you could like put the color codes here. So RGB values you could directly plug in here. So that helps in copying the theme over from a customer website's colors and putting here. So that is what themes is. So extreme flexibility in selecting and managing themes is possible with WalkInto. These are all standard features, so there is nothing like you need to add any premium sound. Ambient sound is a very nice feature in the sense like ambient sound is a 360 3D sound. Say, for example, when you are in a park, you want to simulate the direction in which you are looking, and the sounds of the park is very important there. So to achieve that 3D effect, you have tools in WalkInto. You could take a sound and you could attach it to a point on the map, and then the sound will exactly play the way in which considering the direction from which user is looking at that sound. Let me just show it quickly. Like, this is a little bit difficult to demo, but I'll try. So the ambient sound, you add it by using this add sound button here, and that will put a sound here. Don't get so it's important to understand that this sound that we are putting is actually on a map. It's on a position. So to switch from the street view mode to a map mode, it's one click. This is on the right top on the editor. When you click, you are actually in the map. So here, you could place the sound exactly where you want with respect to the scene, and then you could pick the sound that you want. There are a bunch of sounds that we have here, or you could like upload a sound that is also supported. Predefined sounds are okay, but many times I have seen that people pick up train sounds and natural recorded sounds to give the exact feeling. So now this sound is added, and you could switch back here. I think I moved it a bit, so I think it has just gone outside this. Let me put it back here. Okay, here you could see that in this pop-up, this is another way in which you can visualize it. This sound is here, so I could say that the sound I want on this suitcase, if I want it, I could dynamically, you could just move it. Oh, there's a lot of movement that has happened. Right. So you can see that it's moving over there. So this positioning is very much possible, and this sound will play now when I get to the scene, and when I'm looking at this direction. When I turn away from this, it will play as if it is playing from behind me. So that is the 3D sound aspect of this ambient sound. It's very different from the audio tour card and hotspot sounds, which will play when you click on something. So it has that notion of viewport sound, hotspot sound, or a 360 sound, whereas an ambient sound, it is for a scene, and it is very directional in the sense like the angle from which you are looking at the sound, the sound source matters to play that 3D sound perfectly. This is something that you have to experiment, and you have to experience, and this has a lot of relevance in the VR, because in VR, in virtual reality, when you are building, the sound plays a very important role, and this is a feature that we will be using to the help when we are building the next version of VR on this. Okay. And moving on to the next important features, the dashboard. The dashboard is pretty much your management console. You create your tools, you manage your profile, your subscription purchases, and applying to the tool. All of them happens here. Your portfolio editing, setting up your Facebook links, your Twitter links, other social media links, that business links that you want to show up on your profile, you manage from the dashboard. Managing transfer, that we mentioned a little while back, how to share a tool with somebody else, that you manage from the dashboard. And you want to get you want to extract iframe embed codes, that also you get from the dashboard. So it's a very important tool in managing your tools, you could say that. So now here, to go back to the dashboard, there's a side panel here. So here in the main panel that you see is a list of tools that you have, and on a side panel you get different things that we spoke about, the profile edit and profile fixing. The shared tools are tools that you have shared, or some tools that are shared with you. So that comes here. And also, if a tool is shared and you need to explain to the customer how to use that, that part is here. So basically, when you share a tool, you get a transfer code, and then transfer code need to be applied on this box here to claim that tool. And purchasing of subscriptions and managing purchase subscriptions you do from the dashboard, obviously. Purchasing is very simple and straightforward. Basically, you go and you add the products that you want to add. The products, if you look here, the paid hosting, Pano connector, and white label domain, these are the main products that we currently have in the store. Uh, uh, Further, each of these products have subscription periods that are associated with it: 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, lifetime subscriptions. And depending upon which subscription and which product that you want, you add that to your shopping cart. And then you go ahead, you click on the shopping cart, and then you can do a normal checkout using a credit card. So this is not going to work. This is a live system, so I have used a fake card. So this is the way in which when you subscribe, and when you have subscribed, what you get is you get a updated subscription list. So here, if you look, you can see that I have one weekly subscription. We have 8 1 year subscriptions available, and 2 I have used. White label domain subscription. So if it is available, it will show up for how long it is valid. And every purchase that you have made, you will get a row here, and you could see, you could go ahead and print out the invoices from this dashboard. So all of them are possible. Portfolio widget. This is pretty cool. Basically, this, you can take this snippet and you can plug it in to your website, include it on a page to include a live list of your portfolio. And this is a growing portfolio. Obviously, as you add more tools to your WalkInto portfolio, this list will keep updating itself. So that is a portfolio widget that you could take and use. Settings get managed from here also. So there's, as you can see, there's a lot of settings here. Allow social sharing. These are settings for your tools. So you could say that on my tool, I do not want to show my profile, or I want my tool to be private. I don't want it to include in the site gallery or in my portfolio. So you could check it off. You could say that I don't want to show the tool description, or you could say that I don't want to enable the zoom controls. So all these sort of settings are possible, and these are master settings. So when you edit the master settings, you could apply it to all tools, including tools you have already published. So that has some relevance, because you could also edit a tool settings right from the editor. So this editor has a tool specific settings you can access from this grid that's on your right top here. You could open your settings. You could basic and advanced set of settings that are available. You could set it up the way you want. The only important thing that you need to remember with the settings is that the uh, setting changes that you do will apply only on paid tools. For free hosting tools, it will just default to the default set of settings. So that's the only thing that you need to remember. And let's go back to the dashboard once again. Against each of the 2 rows that you see here, you have a pop-up menu. This will further allow you to initiate things like transferring the tool's ownership or editorship to another user. You could open it up for editing. You could publish it. You could actually, for a published tool, you could actually unpublish it. We could make it not available on the internet right away. For a published tool, you could also get the embed code for that tool from here. You could do the simple adjustments that are required, and this iframe code that you could take and you could embed it into a web page. So that is the way to get a iframe embed out of WalkInto. Now you may want to apply a hosting plan to a tool. To do that, all you do is you select it, or you select it, and then you can click on the apply plan. So when you click on apply hosting plan, so apply hosting plan of all the purchased hosting plans that you have, you could pick the one that you want, the one you want to apply, and you click on apply plan, and that will make the tour in a paid mode. So this is how you make a tour. So the typical workflow of making a tour is you create a tour in the editor, you preview the tour, and when you are fine with the way in which the tour is looking, you send across a customer preview link to the business that is paying you to make the tour. So the customer preview link shows up without any ads, so it's a special link that you get right from the editor. And when customer says okay, you are ready to publish. Then you click publish. So when you click publish like that, you get the publish link. So let me just quickly show you those two aspects that I didn't show when I was demoing. So here we have made a tool, and to get a customer preview link, I could use this icon here. So here this link that I'm getting. So this is a link that's sort of a private link. It will work for the next 48 hours, and within that 48 hours, you should try to get the customer's feedback and incorporate it, and give another version to the customer. And if it goes beyond the 48 hours period, you could always create another preview link and share it. The preview links change after 48 hours. The So this is a feature. This was a feature request that we built in about 6 months or so back. And once everything is done, the preview is fine, customer is happy with what you have made. All you need to do is click on this publish tour button, and that will make the tour public. It actually will create the required files and put it in a public URL. And here you could see that this link that you have is the public link for this tool. Okay, till this point the tool was not public. Now if I go back to my editor and go back to the dashboard, there will be a subtle change on this tool. And earlier, like it had an icon here. Now it has changed to this globe icon to denote that it's a published tool. And here it shows that it's free with ads. I could actually go ahead and apply a hosting plan on it. I could pick a 1-year hosting plan here, and I could click apply plan. Now, when I did that, it applied a subscription from the cold storage of subscriptions that I had, and now for the next 1 year, it will be ad free. So this is the way in which applying a hosting plan part works. And I could at any point in time go to my subscriptions tab and see that how many of them are left. Earlier I had 7 left. Now I have 6 left. Okay. All right. So now let's move back to our presentation for a bit. We haven't spoken so far about self-hosted panels, so that's an important aspect that we'll just discuss. Self-hosted panels gives you power to import and use Streetview images that are outside Streetview. So this would expect you to know how to create a equirectangular panorama. So all of you are pros, so you know how to use PTGUI or color to create an equirectangular panorama. And once you have this equirectangular panorama ready, what WalkInto has given is a software called WalkInto Tiler. And this WalkInto Tiler, using WalkInto Tiler, you could process this panorama, and then you could put it out on your web server, and you could use it in WalkInto. It is extremely well covered in our documentation. Here, this is WalkInto Help Desk. I have shared this link on this presentation, and there is I just spoke about WalkInto Tiler. That is our desktop software that processes the equirectangular panorama, and then how to set up a panel self-hosting, then how to import it and use it in WalkInto. So all of them are well covered in our documentation. But I will quickly show how it can be, how you can import and use a panorama here. So I have a bunch of panels already available through my custom hosting, so I wouldn't be covering the WalkInto tiler part where the processed equirectangular get tiled and put up in a web server. That's a fairly long process. We do have demo videos available for that section also. To click on this custom icon here, and that will bring up a panel from which I could import a single panel or a batch of panel. So actually there is a panel host, that's a hosted service that we provide. There is no compulsion to use that. It's taking a little bit of time because I have too many panels, and here you can see that there's a bunch of panels that I have, mostly this for testing purpose, that I have pulled in. There are a few panels here. Let me open up one of them. These are already synced panels with the web server. I could click on open in editor, and that should give me a panel here. And so this is not on Streetview. This is coming from elsewhere, and you can just call it a custom panel. So now if you take a step back and look at this, what we have just done is we connected two businesses which are from Streetview, two different businesses. We added hotspots, tour cards, floor plans, etc. to it, and now we imported in something that is not on Streetview, all in one click each. So that is the power of WalkInto. So now to just go ahead and show you what you can do, you could use this moderator tool. This is the panel connector tool here, and you could very easily create a connection between this outside panel and here. This is not the perfect connection because obviously these are not panels that I can connect, but as you can see, it's possible to just link in panels very easily using this. Okay, you could edit the labels for these links. You could actually take off the label if you don't want it. You could save that. Panel connector is a premium feature, so panel connector has a annual subscription associated with that. So that's what it is. And finding help. So this is one of the reasons, one of the important aspects of this session is for you to know as to how you could get the required help. So let me just move back here. Stop the screen sharing for a second. So here, if you go to the gallery, so I have links to WalkInto Help Desk and WalkInto User Group, the Google Plus User Group, as well as the Facebook User Group. You could use either of them to ask us any questions that you want help, you want support with. User community is always ready to help. And also, the WalkInto Help Desk is extremely responsive in the sense, within hours of you asking any questions, we usually get it sorted out. It could be feature requests, it could be real problems that you want a solution for. So Help Desk is your solution. That's added to this gallery on the right. When I'm editing this video later for publishing, I will also add these links so that later when if you want to take a look, you will be able to see it. Okay, so that is here. And now moving back to the presentation for a bit. Okay. So setting up a self-hosted panel server is fairly easy. You could follow the instructions. You could set it up on AWS, Amazon Web Services on S3, or you could set it up on your own web server. I have seen all these things happening. There are hundreds of users who are using self-hosting. Panel host is our hosting solution. It's good in the sense like it's fast, it's really fast, and it takes away all the management headaches from you. But there is no compulsion for you to use that either. Settings, luckily we covered that part, and products we discussed about that also. Subscription management we showed. Uh, we have a few important links that will be useful for you, so that I have covered. So now coming back to what WalkInto could do. So this is just a summary. So pretty much everything that you really need from an overlay system, WalkInto provides, and WalkInto is fast becoming the VR platform of choice for Streetview. So that's a big plus for people who want to be on the bleeding edge of technology evolution that's happening with the virtual reality. Um, it's very easy to create a tool and apply a hosting plan to it and turn off the ads. You could manage the tools from the dashboard. You have options for collaboration with other users using tool sharing. Um, and there are different link options, customer preview and published links. So these are all for managing the tool lifecycle very effectively. Okay, so these are the important subjects that I wanted to cover on today's introduction session, and I will plan some detailed sessions around rest of the in-depth features that we could talk. But the WalkInto help desk articles are always very detailed and very helpful in getting started with the features that you want to know more about. So do use that. And at any point in time, if you are getting stuck, you might have noticed that there is a support icon right in your dashboard and in your editor that you could use to submit a help desk ticket, and we will be there to help you at any time. Hope this was useful, and there will be a recording of it that you should be able to review later, and I will also be sharing the links for this. Any questions that you have, please feel free to share it. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions, which I don't know whether it is good or bad, but we are just running out of time now, and hope you enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.